Alright guys, switching gears for a bit. So I finally got the alternator rebuilt. I took it to a place called Richardson Generator here in Richardson, Texas, which is just north of Dallas. I'd actually taken this alternator to about 3 different places, but only he knew what a cav alternator was, and you know, he was able to source some windings for it and diodes and replace them. It was pretty dirty, so you know, I'm sure you'll see it in the old video. So I took a little bit of simple green to it and, you know, cleaned it up a little bit so that it comes up a little bit nicer. I also did the same with the back cover, so it's all nice and shiny. So what I'm going to do now is, you know, obviously this is the old belt. It's kind of shredded. Got a replacement Continental belt. I'm going to take this GM alternator off. I'm going to have to make a little bit of an adjustment to the lower bracket because I had to move it in order to fit the GM alternator. So I'm going to have to move it back down again, throw the belt on, and then put everything back together again. And hopefully it should all work and be lovely. So that's pretty much what I'm doing for the day. It is freezing cold over here. It was actually snowing outside, so I've got my little jet heater going. It's actually pretty nice in this shop right now. It's very, very bearable. I just turned it off for a few seconds while I started shooting this video, but as soon as I turn the video off, I'm going to get back to work and turn it back on. Anyway, that's it from me for now. Let me put the belt on and the alternator, and I'll give you an update. Alright guys, so I got the alternator back on. Actually, it was quite a tricky job because, you know, first of all, what I did is I mounted it expecting to be able to, you know, connect the electrical connections on the back, and found out that I couldn't, so I had to take it back off again, and then wire up the electrics and put the back plate on before I remounted it again. This hose over here is kind of always in the way, so I've you know, it's a real nuisance, but we'll figure out what to do with it. Belt, it's got a new belt on. Belt is relatively tight. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a pain in the rear job. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically turn the car on, see if I can get the generator light to go out, see if the alternator is actually charging. So we'll see what goes on. So it looks like we have oil lamp, but I don't see a generator light. So I don't know what the... I'm going to give it a couple of seconds to fill up the carburetors. Get around the other side. So, not sure what's going on, whether this alternator is working correctly. Again, like 12.3 volts from the battery. So I can't really tell you if the alternator is charging or not. Alright, so alternator is definitely not charging, because while the car was running it was at around 12.3 volts, and now with the car turned off I'm back up at 12.6. So that clearly would indicate to me that the alternator isn't charging. Now, you know, is that a problem because of the voltage regulator, or is that a problem because the rebuild wasn't right? Your guess is as good as mine. One thing that was positive is that the car ran pretty much continuously. So it ran, and it ran actually pretty okay. I mean, it's a little bit noisy, but that's because one of the exhaust pipes is, you know, disconnected. It's missing. So I think the driver's side downpipe basically goes nowhere. There's a piece of pipe that's missing. So, you know, it sounds a little bit rough, but that's fine. It was leaking. It was leaking fuel, even though it was running. You know, it was still leaking fuel. So I got to figure out what that's about. Maybe, you know, the float balls are getting stuck and it's going through the overflow, or maybe the line that basically recirculates the fuel back into the tank isn't connected, and as a result it's just, you know, dumping whatever it can't use. So I need to figure out what's going on there, because it's not clear to me. You know, what the issue is, and maybe, you know, even if there is an issue. So that's pretty much it. You know, these are very, very slow steps, because just everything takes forever here. I'm gonna probably stop working on this car for a while, because I really need to focus on making this piece of crap go away. And this is my S600 parts car, and as soon as I get it dismantled, then I can reclaim my lift, and then as soon as I get my lift reclaimed, I can actually get some work done on this car. Anyway, keep watching, and I'll keep updating. Thank you. Bye bye.